Okay, welcome everyone. You've reached Grandma Mo, and as always, appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button for me. We're covering the WNBA games, and this one, another rematch of last year's finals. We had New York playing the Minnesota Lynx, and the Minnesota Lynx were at home, and they also had a 5 days off. Whereas New York had played 3 games, and this was their third game in 5 days. So there were moments where that showed. Um, this game came down to Courtney Williams being, I don't know if I would call it a heater, but Courtney Williams made some just key shots. And then Kayla McBride hit the dagger 3 at the end to get Minnesota the win. But the biggest thing I noticed was Minnesota got a lot of layups. New York's defense was not. They were giving up layups. And then on the opposite side of that, New York would drive and they missed them. Not all of them, but they missed some crucial ones where if they had just made those, this had been a different game. I mean, but you never know how things are going to turn out when a shot's missed or made or whatever. But, there were 3 or 4 that the Liberty missed that were like open layups, and they missed them. They were expecting contact or, who knows, maybe just, a little bit tired legs or. But those were the 2 glaring things. Because there were some key shots, both teams had leads. New York actually led late in the game. And then, Minnesota started out with a big lead. They were up 15 points. And then by halftime, in the second quarter, they had built a lead to 15 points. And then New York, whittled away at it and whittled away, and it was down to 5 by halftime. And then right off the bat, New York went strong, and they got the lead in the third quarter. And they also had a lead in the fourth quarter. But then, just missed opportunities. Some missed shots, some missed passes. There was a pass that Ionescu threw to Jonquel Jones, and Jonquel Jones, it was like they'd never played together before. Which, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, you see it with Meeseman occasionally, but that's explainable because she's only been playing with him for a couple games. And they were saying on the broadcast that she's only had 1 practice with them. It's all just been games and just 1 practice. So they got 1 more game together before the playoffs, and we'll see how that one goes. I don't know if Breanna Stewart is going to be back, and they haven't said anything about Fee. So, but, very entertaining game otherwise. Just back and forth, very competitive, down to the wire. It was a 2-point game until, McBride hit the 3, and that put him up, I want to say 2, because I think New York was leading. And then New York tried to get a shot, and they missed, and then they had to foul. And that was the difference between the, this final score of 86-80. So the Lynx get the win 86-80. They breaking it down by quarters. We had Minnesota up 21-12, and then New York cut into that lead and outscored them 21-17. Then New York also outscored them in the third quarter, 28-22. But then the Lynx came back 26-19 in the fourth, and that got them the win. So Minnesota is now 28-5, and New York drops to 21-13, and they are tied with Phoenix now. They have now dropped below Atlanta. Atlanta's going to be playing the Valkyries tomorrow, so we'll see how that one ends up. If the Valkyries can beat Atlanta, they beat them the last time they played them, because they're playing in Valhalla. If they can beat them, then you're going to have a 3-way tie with 13 losses. So I don't know how that all shakes out, but boy, it's getting so tight towards the, as this season is going on. And there's some tough games coming up. So looking at New York ended up having 6 players in double figures out of the 8 that played. Stephanie Talbot only played 2 minutes. She didn't have anything on her stat line. But New York had the rest of the 7 players, all were in double figures except Phoebish. And Phoebish had 7 points. She had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a turnover, and a steal. She was 3 for 8, 1 for 3 from 3-point land. And then Miesemann had 10 points. She had a block, a steal, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. She was 4 for 8 and 2 for 3 from 3. Then you had Jonquil Jones, 17 points. She was 7 for 11, 2 for 4. New York actually shot the ball really well. They just missed some key shots. That was the difference in this game. Ionescu, 13 points. She had 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. Her, Jonquil Jones, and Johannes all had 3 turnovers apiece. But here's the thing. They had 13 turnovers to Minnesota's 8, but the points off turnovers were equal at 12. So that wasn't the difference in the game. I think other than New York missing those layups and then giving up layups to Minnesota, I think that was just and we're talking just a couple of points here. So, and then Cloud had 10 points. She had a steal, a turnover, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. She was 4 for 8. And 0 for 2 from the foul line. 0 for 2 from 3 and 2 for 2 at the foul line. Kennedy Burke, 11 points. She had 2 turnovers, 2 assists, and a rebound. She was 2 for 4 from 3 and 4 for 9 overall. And then she was 1 for 3 from the foul line. So, and then Johannes, 12 points. She was 2 for 6 from 3, 5 for 11 overall. So, New York as a team shot 45% and 37% from 3. So, that wasn't the difference. But there was a big difference at the foul line. New York went to the foul line 8 times. Minnesota went 33 times. So that, even though Minnesota shot worse, they were at the foul line, 3 times more than 3, almost 4 times as much. So you had Minnesota shooting 43%. And 31% from 3. And then you also, both teams played 8 players. Minnesota only had 4 players in double figures. Carlton didn't score. Alana Smith had 14.7 rebounds. She was 6 for 11. Jessica Shepard had 17 points. She had 10 rebounds. She went to the line 12 times. Kayla McBride, 17 points. She went to the line 13 times. She was 9 for 13, which is unusual for her. They were pointing that out. She, in her, the entire season, she's only missed 5 total foul shots. And she missed, what is that? She missed 5 in this game, which that's highly unusual. She didn't shoot very well. She was 3 for 14, 2 for 7 from 3. But she got more than half of her points at the foul line. And then Courtney Williams, she was rocking in this game. 26 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. She was 10 for 18 from the floor and 3 for 6 from 3. And then 3 for 4 at the foul line. Then you had Carrington had 4 points. Kundalikova had 3. She hit a 3-point shot. And then Heidemann had 5 points. So that rounds it out for this game. And these two teams are going to play one more time coming up. I don't know if it's in New York, but it ought to be another battle to the finish. So that's it for this one, and we'll see you next time.